Hi, I'm Denny.
And I'm Mindy, and we have 7 children. 3 of them are biological and all grown.
And we have 4 adopted children as well.
They are Liren, Kaya, Ayla, and Gideon.
We're the Thybault family.
Then another portion of our journey was I was singing in the prayer room, and I had a vision while I was on stage. All of a sudden the worship leader began to sing, "If you could just see what's beyond these doors." I all of a sudden went into a vision where I was standing in front of these 2 beautiful doors, and they were cracked open and I could hear giggling. When I looked through, I saw Jesus sitting surrounded by bubbles. And he was kind of playing with them. He was blowing them and letting them float, and he'd tap them, and he was laughing. And so as I got closer, I could see that in every bubble there was a baby. And I was so taken by this. I was like, wow, Lord, what are you trying to show me? And he lifted his hands and said, pick one. I knew that they were embryos.
She shares that with me. We both had a paradigm shift because we were placing our own human value of what we thought was more valuable, this one or this one. And then just another layer of that dull onion came off, and we were like, oh, I understand now. I knew you before the foundations of the world. I formed you in your mother's womb. All these scriptures started coming together, and we instantly repented and just said, God, forgive us for placing our human value on what you call an inheritance, life.
So the next step was to figure out how to do this. So I actually found the gal that I had talked to many years prior. She was a Facebook friend of mine. She gave me a name of a clinic that she had used and sent other women to. My first question to the nurse is, can I do this? I'm fully menopausal, I'm not cycling anymore. And she said, yes, we just need to look at the condition of your womb. And that was kind of interesting, because when the doctor was finished looking at my womb and everything, he just said to me, well, your womb is definitely asleep. He said, but it is the womb of a 24-year-old, I'd say. And that was funny to me because that was the last time I had given birth. I was 24 years old. So the Lord must have preserved me for this. Gideon Wilberforce, namesake after the vision that the Lord gave us. And Gideon, Denny has shared the story of Gideon for years. First thing that the Lord asked Gideon to do before he would heal his land was to go and tear the Baal altar down that his father had erected in the city. And to us, that is the abortion issue. That's the clinics and things that are doing this. It's just been, this baby has just been an amazing addition to our family. We had to get used to having a boy because we'd been doing everything pink for so long, so that's been a lot of fun. We've just been loving having another son, and he's just extra special. What did we learn from all of this? What are we learning? It is a journey for sure. I have to say this, that every time that we have said yes to something that the Lord has just whispered in our ear or whispered in our hearts, it usually takes us to a completely different direction and opens up a whole new world to us. So I'm really thankful for the Lord's heart in that. I look at adoption and I think it's so simple. I love how the Lord relates the marriage as his eternal plan of being with him. And adoption is just like that. I mean, he is the author of adoption. And so sometimes when I share with people, I'll say, if I'm the Lord's bride, and the word is very clear that the fatherless belong to him, if I were to marry a man that had children, those children would become my children. Right. So I think that it's that simple.
When I look at the adoption process and how Father adopted us into his kingdom, and then he asks us to do the same thing, I love what John 4 says, to look into the fields, and that's a plural word, the field of the unborn, the field of the toddlers, the children. It's plump and ripe and ready for the picking. They're there right now. What if this is God's end time plan of gathering a mass harvest of babies and children? That this is it. This is Malachi. That he says, in the last day I'm going to turn your heart, and this is the harvest, the little ones. This is my end time plan. Go after these ones, because you get to adopt them, you get to raise them in the house of the Lord, and you get to train them in the ways of the Lord all their days. And so I say I'm honored before the Lord to be able to do this.